Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a takedown build for RAFA in Borderlands 4. This is going to give you the easiest time making your way up to Mayhem 20. After running this many times myself, I had some thoughts on the best way to build your RAFA out using guns here. Now, the Golden God obviously being one of RAFA's best weapons right now because he can get true infinite ammo without having to use Bullet Buddy Deluxe, as you're seeing right here. This is great because it lets us clear out rooms really quickly. We can use a Destructo Disco grenade here that does shock damage so we can take care of shields, and we got a lot of tricks up our sleeves to help make this a lot easier. Hopefully we'll see some buffs to RAFA here maybe Thursday or the next, but we do have some really good weapons here like the Stray, the Golden God, the Lockjaw, the Dark Beast, and we can even use metal management to give ourselves some beam tossers for taking care of bosses. And RAFA was also updated recently so that first impressions will give that 50% extra gun damage on any of our COV weapons in addition to the vitriol from his red skill tree. So I'll be taking you through the full leveling guide here. Now, first starting off with, I like the deft hands here for increased fire rate on not just our guns, but our Peacebreaker cannons. You can go with CDR if you want, but I found that this scales a lot better since we're going to be firing a lot of bullets quickly. Now, Harga is important because this will give us the action skill duration, so we can stay in our action skill pretty often because instinto here as well. This is a kill skill, so killing an enemy will give action skill duration back while also causing his action skill duration to drain faster. That's okay though, because with this, we can oftentimes stay in our action skill, and the moments that we can get it back using like a triple bypass. So this is the one that I like to use for most situations. Bullet Buddy Deluxe doesn't really fit the build really well here. After this, we can grab Sia, as this is a kill skill that will restore our shields based on our maximum health. This is really nice. You don't have to go all the way in. You can take a couple points, put 3 into Al Valiente, which will give you increased damage from all sources. This is a little bit tough in the takedown to actually use properly, so I like to go with Sia. And funny enough, taking a point in Vengaza here is pretty solid if we're using the Destructo Disco or like the Fire Pod or the Waterfall grenades, because those won't hurt us. So whenever our shields break after being fully recharged, we can spawn a grenade. Now, I personally prefer to just go full points and Sia here just for the extra survivability, because RAFA really needs everything that he can get now. Resiliencia is nice because this gives us increased damage reduction, but Sia just is a lot better. After this, we're going to come down and grow into the Barrage here. Increased splash damage. I mean, the Everdrive doesn't really work for taking the Dancer class mod. If you're using a different class mod, you could go with Everdrive, but we're going to go with Barrage and then go into Temerario. This gives us the highest gun damage. We can get upward almost 500% gun damage from this, which is quite nice to have. And then we're going to go with an extra point at Soltado and make sure you have one from the Dancer class mod with both Temerario and Soltado, giving us the highest possible gun damage boost. After this, I like to take some vitriol here because this is the first shot fired after a fully loaded magazine, gives us bonus corrosive damage. So it's taking a lot of our gun damage increases. However, COV med weapons, as mentioned, will work with this. I personally don't like to take volatile hollow points. This replaces our rockets that will deal splash damage, which scales off of that. But the thing is, we want instinto here. We want the crit chance. So getting crits with Harga here and instinto is really nice. You can, however, grab volatile hollow points. I just prefer going without it, but it's entirely up to you. This just gives you the ability to stay in your action skill a little bit more consistently. It's entirely your choice. After this, we're coming to the red or blue skill tree here. Less Harris here allows us to use the Golden God to its full potential because we regenerate ammo, and it's an overdrive skill, so it gets scaled up even further, allowing us to restore enough ammo so that you can see, as I was using the gun there, get infinite ammo. After this, I'd recommend grabbing the Thrill. The more fire rate we can get, the better, and this is further increased when we're in overdrive. After this, we have a couple skills that we do need to take. Al Centro is really important because this gives us gun handling, which will offset some of the gun handling that we lose from Temerario. So go with 4 points into this, and then we're going to take a single point into metal management. This lets us use the underbarrels like the beam tossers, which are really powerful in this setup because you can spam them for 2 seconds. Hopefully they'll get that updated so that it stacks with like the bombastic class mods. We get 4 seconds of that. After this, I like to grab Brain Dump. This gives us critical hit chance with guns. Now, this isn't fully needed if you have an enhancement plus the Golden God shotgun, but this opens up and lets you use other weapons other than the Golden God if you wanted to. The Golden God with an enhancement can fire endlessly and get 100% crit chance, which is really nice. If you're just going to use the Golden God, don't put points into this. And we're going to put points into First Impression for 50% increased gun damage from the first fired round from a magazine. Again, COV will stack that up pretty easily. Now, again, Brain Dump is optional depending on your gun setup. La Garza here will give us further increased gun handling, and then we can go down to Deadline here. Currently, Jacques and Mate don't work properly, so this will give us further increased gun handling, and then Deadline gives us further increased fire rate. Otherwise, you'd be taking the Brain Dump and then putting a few more points into La Garza or the El Centro. Even after its nerfs for a class mod, the best choice is still the Dancer. Hopefully they revert that at some point. Now, what you want to look for is getting 5 points in Temerario, 1 point in Soltado, and 1 point into the blue skill tree, the Thrill here, because that is going to give you the highest possible damage outcome. That's optimal. I've tried his other class mods. I mean, nothing really works here that well. Unfortunately, Dancer is still the best. There's some other options. You can go with the Overdriver if you're doing like a movement speed based build. I'm still experimenting a bit more with that, but Dancer is still the way to go for this build. Now, I like to go with a Watts for dinner with Siphon and Amp for this. This just gives you a good way to regen your shield a little bit, overshield, and also deal damage. Super Soldier is probably like the true best if you want to go with something that's just going to increase your fire rate, as well as this Fireworks are a fantastic choice for this because as you get kills, not only are we staying in our action skill longer, but we're actually going to have these hunt out enemies. I was just tired of swapping Firmware around, but Fireworks, Super Soldier are probably the true best, and Watch for Dinner is good too for that extra shock damage, as there's a lot of shields in this takedown. Now, this here buffs up the Golden God so much. I posted a build about this like 5 or 6 months back. Very powerful because whenever we have a COV licensed magazine, we have a 100% chance to deal critical damage when we're overheating, and COV licensed magazines get a 35% fire rate increase when over 50%. Now, this works great with the Golden God as when you're overheating, it's not going to consume, it's not going to break. You can continue to keep fire, and with our ammo regen, we can constantly keep firing this. So it's the best choice. Now, this is like that is the best roll for shotgun damage. I was using ones with just regular old gun damage, and even I had pistol damage and gun splash radius. I was using this one for quite some time. This is not ideal. The better the rolls, obviously the better, but enhancements are kind of the most annoying thing, but I was just trying to show the absolute peak of this. So obviously if you can get shotgun damage, we're going to be using a shotgun often. Now, for ordinances, I really like the Destructo Disco in this setup because it's not going to hurt us. There's a lot of, if you can get a shock version, this is great because there's a lot of shields in this, and you can throw this out and not have to hunt it down. So if you're leaving a room and you saw there's just one enemy left, what you can do is turn around, throw this, and just run to the rest of them, and it'll hopefully by that time take them out. If you can also get like, I just personally prefer the Destructo Disco in this setup. I've tried the Scully, I've tried the Waterfall. Waterfall's all right too, but Destructo Disco is the way to go. And for Repkits, we want to have the triple bypass so that if our action skill does go down, we can spam this to get it back. It's optimal with a leech, I found in my testing, just because with the leech, this gives you lifesteal, which is amazing to have as, yeah, Rafa's a little squishy right now. Unfortunately, he's like the worst Vault Hunter as it goes. As for firmware though, Skillcraft gives us increased skill damage. You can swap that over 3 active fire. The weapon damage is amazing. And if you want to use like something a little bit different, active fire can work well with like if you're using the Crow Source, you can swap that out for bossing. The Crow Source is an amazing weapon for every Vault Hunter, including Rafa. But Skillcraft is great because it scales over skill damage, which is something that's really good. You can also go with High Caliber 3 for the piercing bullets, which is amazing on like the Golden God, so you can get extra crits, hit extra targets. High Caliber 3 is a really nice choice as well. But weapons, you just need the Golden God, preferably if you can get multiple elements. Like the fire one is amazing for the Child of Terramorphous, just using a regular one to keep things consistent. It also does splash damage, so this is honestly one of the best setups against Bloomreaper the Invincible. I also have Stray. This is nice because it can hunt down enemies. If you got a COV part, that's great too. Although the damage on this is not very high. I don't have a very good damage roll in the Stray. Lockjaw, this thing is insane. It's great on hit, bounce up to 4 nearby enemies, and what's amazing about that is if you have a Jacob's enhancement, that can be stacked even further, but we're mostly going to be using the Golden God. This is just a nice backup. I also like to have the Dark Beast here. I got a COV part 1, and what's great about this is it'll naturally pierce, and there's a lot of armored enemies here, so we can take them down quickly with this. Also, the Swan Song's great. I also like the Mercredi and the Hard Dark here. You can use the Laser Discer to throw if you need to get back up. But the Crow Source is going to be your like dedicated weapon for bossing. So I do like to swap one of these out. It's typically like the Stray. I don't have a very good Stray. Throw on the Crow Source to take care of the Child of Terramorphous. Specializations, the most essential is now with caffeine, because whenever we use a Repkit, we get 25% of our action skill cooldown back, so we can get back into our action skill quickly. The best defense is nice for the extra damage dealt whenever your health is full, and you can get that back using the Repkit with 30% lifesteal, because that'll just keep you sustained pretty well. Bullet Train will give us increased gun damage when walking, which I just think is really nice. You can also go with like Bare Arms or Groundbreaker if you want to use like the Mantra Shotgun, for example. And Riddle You This gives you increased gun damage up to 50%. Quite nice. If you want to use the Mantra, that'd be like CQC, Bare Arms, and Groundbreaker. You can stack all those together. And even Hone Mind and I'm a Gunner, like super fantastic on the setup. I like to roll with these 4. Now, Rafa can stay in his action skill pretty consistently. So what we want to do is when we first get out here, I like to toss one Destructo Disco. Keep an eye on your cooldowns here. Now, you can use your Repkit there if you need that fire rate increase, or if you need the, depending on if you have the Leech or the, I have the Leech one on now currently. This just gives you some really great sustain. Since we're dishing out a ton of damage, this keeps us alive very well. And you can see there, we get our actions, we keep our action skill rolling, and you can keep firing your gun because we get our ammo regeneration up so high that we're honestly, whenever we get to, you can see there, 1-0, 1-0. Always look for this big one here. If you play Marvel Rivals, this is like Moon Knight's Ankh. Also, the voice actor for Rafa voices Deadpool in that game, so I always hear it whenever I'm playing this. But always look for the biggest, easiest to hit target because your ricochets will just help out. Always use your mini map at the top corner. I found that works really well, especially on Rafa when every second really does count, as things are a bit rough for him. And if you have high caliber, try to line up your shots as much as possible. So this is nice to be in a consistent rhythm of tossing your grenades, especially if there's an area where you're not focusing on at the time. If there's like one enemy, if you're looking up at your mini map and you see one enemy in an area and you see a bunch in another area, go after the large area and just toss your grenade so that it deals with them. And always be on the lookout for the boss type enemies like that, because they are just going to be a good source of ricochets to just help take down everything else. Funny thing, the indirect projectiles from Rafa's kit does not include ricochets, so that's an unfortunate part about building. But you can see there, we are keeping our action skill pretty much like constantly. The thing is, you just have to be killing things often. I'm doing the hardcore run right now. I found Rafa actually performs well at like Mayhem 10, and his damage output is just enough here so you can like just keep killing on this setup here. We have an enemy that's way over there and one that's up top here, so I tossed out the grenade to go and help out getting with them, and we'll just go deal with this target here and take them out. So yeah, that is the most overpowered Rafa gun build for the takedown in Borderlands 4. He's in a rough spot. I've been begging for buffs for Rafa, so hopefully we'll see something on this Thursday or next Thursday. But if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below. Hope you guys all have an incredible day, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.